We are podcastvideos.com. Our goal is to educate, enlighten, engage, and entertain. We believe in the power of love and transformation through storytelling. All right, friends and family, welcome back. I am Bang, and I'm here with none other than my good brother,
Nate.
Nate, we just got done talking about... Wait, first of all, how are you today, Nate?
Man, I'm awesome. I'm great.
Now, you tend to have a very upbeat, positive mentality.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I try to. You know, this morning I woke up in kind of a mood, but I went out for a run and I just saw a guy. He was dressed up in a costume on an electric bike, and I just had to laugh. You know, it boosted my mood instantly. It's just things like that the random things in life that make you. It's just things like that make you want to really enjoy things.
I love that.
So that it's small, but I mean, it's just the little things like that really. Yeah.
I feel like if you want to find a reason to be upset, you can.
Oh yeah.
And if you want to find a reason to be happy, you can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's definitely just a mindset. So that's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just got done talking about social media and the importance of it and how to define/decide if you need to be on Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, so on and so forth. But I wanted to bring you in because something unique that we offer at podcastvideos.com is called a microsite. And so talk a little bit about that and talk about what a microsite is and how it can help, your show / brand or whatever it is.
Yeah, so as far as websites go, that's basically my area of the company, and we have two different types of websites. One is the media side or media website, so podcastvideos.com would be a media website, and then any diamond package client, which is our a la carte and basically full service package, will have a website and analytics if that's the options that they choose, and that's where the microsite comes in. So it's basically a dedicated website. We have a custom domain for the podcast show, and basically that's where all the content for the show lives. And any search engine optimization and SEO value will be driven to that site. That way it can be visible on search engines. And then any content, it's going to be, that's where we drive all people to find where your show is and what it's about. And that's where they can go to find more about that.
Yeah. Not only does it have a super legit feel to be like, oh yeah, go check out the website.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, you get analytics and you can see how well your show is performing and all of that good stuff.
Yep, we can set up analytics, and usually with any website you'd want to do that. That way you can see where your visitors come from, and then you can set up many different types of conversions that way, because it's interesting to see like how people are getting to your site and where they're going, where they're clicking, and you can do that with our tools that we have. That we're using for the website and then one for analytics. They're both platforms that are built around bloggers and content creators, and that's exactly what we're doing with the diamond packages. Yep. Just creating constant flows of content, and that's what's going to keep traffic to your site. And it's always, for each site, it's always a different kind of experience. Everybody's got different goals, but it's always, no matter what show it is, the website's a hub for that show, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So everything's going to live there, and that's like the one true source of anything about that show.
Yeah. Talk about some people's different goals. Like, you said based off, whatever your specific goal is, that kind of determines like what your site layout will look like, feel like, how you'll navigate it, so on and so forth. And so what are some things that you've seen that people want to kind of get out of their experience?
It's interesting because not everybody knows what's possible until they have the option to do certain things. A website gives you the option to basically put whatever you want on the internet and then have people find it. With what we're doing, we leverage audio and video to do that, which is very unique. But also with podcast shows, I think a lot of people want to try to get into, if they're doing a podcast and they really like what they're talking about, they probably want to eventually monetize it.
Totally.
So there is the option to do that. And that's one of the main goals that we've heard a lot of the podcast shows that we work with. They're like, we want to have companies that we partner with. We want to have advertising. We want to have maybe products on the site. That is something that we can do. So that would be an example of a goal.
Yeah.
Definitely like e-commerce. It's basically just a blog site to start with, but that doesn't mean you can't add products if you wanted to. Like,
right.
So yeah.
And the cool thing about the microsite is you can change it and it can kind of grow with you. Say your goals and your aspirations change, then you can customize the site to meet whatever needs that you have, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
So the way we have them set up is the themes they're custom coded. So that means I have the option to go in and pretty much do whatever we want. We can add advertising on there. We can add products. We can basically create your own unique layout on the website. Right now we have a template that's standard for all of our diamond packages, but we usually try to add in different design elements to make them unique and stand out a little bit more. But if you go to the different diamond package sites, you can definitely tell, like, okay, I know I've seen this before, if you go to one or the other. So we're trying to establish some sort of familiarity there, but also it's like you don't want to have cookie cutter at that point.
Right.
Not everybody wants the same thing. So that's where that design flexibility comes in. We can really put whatever you want on the site.
That's super dope. Yeah. So for somebody that's cold feet, hesitant to pull the trigger, really, really want to experience this, right, and maybe start their own video show, podcast, whatever the case may be, what would you say to them?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I think so what I would say is if you have an idea, right, you can have a podcast about that. And then also relating back to maybe more on the blogging side, like if you have something that you like talking about, you can write about that.
Sure.
And going back to the podcast, you can come in here to the studio, record, and then throw everything on a website, right?
Sure.
I think there's two different types of people. I'm one of the types of people that likes to write things down electronically. I'm not really a pen and paper type of person, but I think there's the other side of that where people really like to write things down.
Sure.
And have that connection. They can that tangential piece to it. But either way, you can throw all that on a website and then have it exist there, and then you can really do whatever you want with it. I know I'm kind of sounding like a broken record a little bit, but there's so much you can do, and why wouldn't you have a website? It's just another iron in the fire, that you can add to whatever you're trying to do, and it helps you stand out.
Well, and whether you want to be discovered, or receive sponsors or advertising, or whether you just want to have a time capsule that you can come back to, this website is something that you can utilize that can help you reach either goal, is what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great point about the time capsule. If you were starting with a website, like let's say that's exactly what you wanted to do, you wanted to have one, you can start with a version 1, right? And then by the next year, you can go back and be like, okay, we're going to change things a little bit, have a version 2. And then however long you decide to go with it, 10, 15 years down the road, you can be like, this website has changed a lot if you wanted to change it a lot. Or it can be, something that doesn't change.
Sure.
And so I guess with the time capsule, you can be like going back and looking like, yeah, that was really cool to see the progression of, because it changed with the show or it changed with us, the ideas, everything like that. You can kind of see like it grew with us as people, because a website's kind of an extension of yourself in a way.
Totally.
So yeah. That would be really cool. We don't really have anything like that in place, but it would be kind of cool to see something like that. Yeah, and
we're innovating too. So you never know what the future holds.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time. Man.
Yeah.
If you guys got any questions about honestly anything tech, I'm not gonna lie, Nate is the guru. So feel free to drop down into the comments or send us a direct message, ask a question, and thank you for sticking around. Peace.